record to the cloud. I think that's what I need to do. All right, y'all, I am Christina Tammy. If you are new here, I am one of your 12K leaders, and I'm so excited to bring to you my message today. And I hope it comes off in the right way, and I hope I can deliver it how I want to. But I did a training with Bob Healy, if that's what you, if that's how you pronounce his name. He is my virtual upline if you listen to his podcast. If you don't, he's awesome, y'all. He trains a lot on this industry. So it is really good to have those types of podcasts where you're learning from somebody that is also knows, like, hands-on with the industry, so that you can become a student and become the best version of yourself in this network marketing, right? So I did a training with him, and I did this last month when I was having one of my hardest mental months, okay? I'm gonna talk with you guys about this because some of you might be going through it, some of you may have already gone through it, and some of you may not even be in this place, but we're gonna talk about it. So last month I had a very hard month mentally. I realized that I was creating a lot of my own setbacks. I was the one that I was the reason why I wasn't up leveling to the next let's say position in my business, and it was all because of my mindset and my thoughts. It was all what was going on up here. And keep in mind, I was doing personal development and I was doing all of these things, but there was a situation that happened that opened my eyes. And the more I dug into why I was feeling like that, the more I realized the self-limiting beliefs, the doubts that I had, the fears, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you ever have a situation that happens and you're like, I don't know why I thought that, or I don't know why I had that. Maybe you dismiss it. That is what I had. And what ended up happening for me was I decided to dig a little bit deeper and dig a little bit deeper. And girl, I got my shovel all up in there and I was like, can we go back? Because this is a lot to handle. I am like, this is heavy. And I realized that I was the reason why my business wasn't up leveling. I was the reason why my paychecks weren't going to the next level. I was the reason why for so many areas of my life. And it takes a very good look in the mirror to be able to say, okay, I'm the problem. What am I going to do? I'm going to fix it. So I did this training and I really loved what he had to talk about and how he related some things. And I'm going to go over it with you. And then I'm going to also talk about a little bit more into the whole mindset part. So what he talks about is, I don't know about you guys, but when I get full of fear or doubt, I become so overwhelmed that I just stop. I freeze. Is anybody else like that? You can drop that in the chat. If you are somebody where it's like, I don't know what to do. How am I supposed to be doing 3 rounds of IPAs, 5 rounds of IPAs? I want to get to this point in my business. I want to make this in my paychecks. I want to do this, that, and you all of a sudden just become frozen. Like that is me. That is my personality trait that I'm fixing, because the worst thing to do is freeze. The worst thing to do is just to take less action when you're in that overwhelming fear point of view. That is the point in your business or in whatever area of life where you need to take action. You need to figure out, okay, I'm going to start, like I said, with the shovel, I'm going to start digging away at that. So he talks about getting that clarity and starting to just get those simple actions and just start taking them. And that was for me, like I said, last month when I got very overwhelmed with all these emotions and all these fears and doubts, and I was trying to, get my way through them, claw through it. It was so hard for me to focus on my bigger picture and move forward. So I froze for like a minute. And honestly, where I want to go and then the success that I want and what I want to happen, I can't freeze for those amount of times. I can't just become so overwhelmed with fear that I stop. So he talks about how your doubt and when you have those like limiting beliefs is creating less confidence in you. So do you ever notice that the more you have doubt or your fear or the what if starts to play in, you start to create that loss of confidence within yourself. And so when he says that, you're creating a red light in your business. You're creating a red light in your life. He calls them red lights. And I was like, okay, I can get down with this, red lights. So he talks about how when you have doubt and you lose that confidence, you're creating that red light. When you have those negative thoughts to an outcome And this is one thing that I'm going to just read right off my notes because I loved it. And he put, fear is imagining a negative outcome to an action you haven't even taken yet. Let that sink in for a minute, because that still gives me chills when I read that. Fear is imagining a negative outcome to an action you haven't even taken yet. So you haven't even done what you need to do, and you are already in your mind with that fear, with that what if, with that doubts, all that kind of stuff, and you haven't even taken the action. Like, I got like 4 chills in a row over here, you guys, because that to me was like I just sat there and I was like, okay, Bob, I get it. I haven't taken any action, and I'm over here imagining something that didn't even happen yet. I haven't even gone that path. It hasn't even come to pass, and I'm over here creating this fear and this doubt. And so he calls them red lights. And what he says is, you are the one that is creating the red light, and you have to stop creating it. And that is where I realized last month in my mindset, I was creating so many red lights within my business to things that never even happened. And if Linz was on this, she would be able to attest this, because I was like spewing off all this stuff, and she's like, okay, girl, back up. Like, it hasn't even happened yet, and you're over here like planning for the world to end, but it hasn't even ended yet type thing. So when I realized that I was creating these red lights, I was like, okay, that's terrible. Like, imagine this, right, guys? You're driving and you're going somewhere like exciting. You're going on a first date, or you're going shopping, or you're going to pick up your food, and you get to a red light and you're like, I'm so hungry. I just want to get to my food, right? Red lights, we don't like them even when we're driving. Like, I had to think about that. I want green lights. I want to get to my destination. I want to get to my friend's house to hang out. I want to get to that food because I'm hungry, or whatever the case may be. So if you think about it like that too, like, why are you going to create red lights? Why are you going to make red lights in your own business and your own life? Because you're the one creating them, when you have the ability to create green lights. You have the ability to create a story that you want. And I love when he puts it like this. And like I said, I'm spewing off a lot of what Bob taught me. So he said, green lights is a story that you can make up right now. This is building your faith. So anytime you have that red light thought, I want you to immediately figure out, how can you make it a green light? How can you keep going? So for example, if it is, I fear that, I'm trying to think here, what was my fears last month? I was fearing if I built the business and left my 9-to-5, or if I left my 9-to-5, that it would fall apart and I wouldn't have a paycheck. That was one of my fears, because that is something I am hopefully going to be doing in these next few months, which is a 6-year dream for me. And the moment I created like that thought process with all these red lights, the green light on that would be, I'm going to create this and it's not going to fall apart, because I'm going to show up every stinking day and I'm going to make sure that this is successful. I'm going to make sure that I show up and make this business everything that it can be. Or I could even say, if it starts to fall apart, that's all right, sis, because you built it once, you can build it all over again and you will be just fine. But I was creating so many red lights within my own mindset and within my own thoughts. Y'all, like, I watched a sermon, and I won't go too crazy, but he said, I caught a thought. And do you ever have that where you caught a thought and then all of a sudden you're down the rabbit hole, and it's sometimes not the best rabbit hole, all from one thought? But you have the power to change that thought from a red light to a green light. And he says in there too, to imagine the positive outcomes. I was so focused on the what if being the fear part, that I started changing my mindset to the even if. So even if that happens, here's my green light. Here's my positive outcome. Here's what I'm going to do to go ahead and counteract that. And he said in this too, and I'm going to just keep saying he said, because I feel like I got to give him credit, because this was such a good thing. So I don't want you all like thinking like, damn, Christina's got some good stuff. No, it was Bob. Got my notes, okay? So he says in there, 100% of your negative thoughts are 100% of your results. 100% of your positive thoughts are 100% your results. And you hear that, right? You hear it all the time. Your thoughts are your your thoughts are what comes of your future. Your thought is what happens in your business. Your thought. So think about that. You have the power to change your mindset and to change your thoughts. Yes, it is hard, y'all. Like I said, last month was very hard for me to realize those types of things that I had, because you guys see me, I show up on everything. I am your biggest supporter. And guess what, y'all? I believe every single box that I see here can achieve their dreams. 100%. Got chills in my hair right now because I believe that with my whole entire heart. But when it came to myself, I had self-doubt. I had limiting beliefs, and that's not okay. That was a mental check that I had to do and realize that those red lights needed to be changed into green lights. So guess what I started to do? I started to be aware of what was going on in my mind. And that is sometimes I think that we let our mind wander. We let our thoughts just go. And you have the ability to call them back. You have the ability to bring your attention to that thought and change it. And the more that you do this and the more that you do this, the more it's just going to become a natural habit. And I'm not going to lie to you, because I bet you after this, I'm going to be like, the enemy's just going to come and attack me because I'm all like sitting here spewing positive. But I started to do that and be aware of my thoughts. And even when I didn't fully believe it into the chills in my hair, saying those even ifs and giving those green lights, I kept repeating them to the point where I started to believe myself. So even if right now you're in whatever mindset you are, keep saying those things to yourself. Your I am statements, being grateful, changing those red lights into green lights, you guys, because those positive thoughts is going to be your future. So if you got to write a story, right? You get to write your tomorrow, you get to write your next 5 years. What story are you going to write? Are you going to write a red light one with all the negatives? Or are you going to write a green light one with all the positives? And I was like, well, duh, I'm going to write a green light one. Who would write a red light one? You know, like who would sit here and write, I'm never going to be successful. This isn't going to work out for me and all those types of things. You wouldn't do that. But every day, little by little in my head, I was already doing that. So I had to become aware of my thoughts and realize that that was holding me back. I'd always felt like there was this hand on my business, and the hand was my own dang hand, y'all, just holding me back because of my thoughts. Just like when they rolled out these promotions, double and triple fast starts, right? How many of you were already like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do that. I haven't enrolled a promoter in a while, so I don't know if I can enroll 2, 3, right? No, write your story. Guess what? I said it. I'm going to be double and triple fast start, and I haven't enrolled a promoter in a while, but I'm going to do it. And guess what? If I don't do it, I don't care. It doesn't, obviously I care. I want to do it. But if it doesn't happen, what changes in me? Nothing. I was positive. I went after it. I worked my business, and I am going after that goal. Or I could have sat there from the beginning and say, well, I'm not going to be able to, as all these other people are popping it and they're getting it. And it's like, oh gosh, I still haven't done it. No, I'm like, I'm going to be triple or double fast start. I'm going to be double or triple fast. Oh my God, say that fast 7 times. Double or triple fast start promoting. I'm going to do it because I want to write that positive story. Whether or not it comes about this time, it might, and it might not, but I'd rather write a positive one and run for that positive story than create a negative one and just sit there and be like. So I just want you guys to really focus on your thoughts. If you do feel like that hand, or you feel like you're not being as creative, or you're overwhelmed, or you don't know what to do, sometimes it just is all because of a thought. And that's something that you can control, and you can bring back that, what is that called? Words are hard for me too, you guys, like English, not my strongest suit, but I try, fine. You can get back that control from that thought. So let me make sure I get my notes. So I want you, he had us do this in this like little course that I took, and I want you to do this tonight or tomorrow. Write out your red lights. And he had us write out our red lights, and it said, so for me was letting go of the 9 to 5 and going all in on my business. And my red light was it could all go away. So what is the alternative? I stay at my 9 to 5, but I'm not happy at my 9 to 5. That's not where my passion is. That's not my purpose. So do you see when you start to list off those red lights and what the alternative would be to that red light, you realize I want a green light. I'm going to figure out how to change it, because your mindset, if you look at that and you compare it, who wants to be in that red light? Nobody, right? So tonight, I want you to do that, or tomorrow, if you have any red lights in your business, in your personal life, you guys, even your health and wellness, what could your red light be? It could be, I don't have enough time to meal prep, right? That could be your red light. I don't have enough time to meal prep, so I'm just gonna stay this way. No, what's the green light? I can start getting in more water, and I'm going to try to figure out a healthier version for my eating out. If you're somebody that has to eat out because you're on the go, I'm going to try to figure out how I can eat a little bit healthier in those places. There's your green light. So write out your red lights and write what you can do to make them green lights. And I keep doing this, you guys. Like, this is something that every time I have that red light thought, I'm trying to figure out, how can I make it a green light? How can I make it a green light? And I'm aware of the thoughts that are going on in between right here. And that is sometimes, I think, our biggest enemy is our thoughts, but we have the power to, like I said, take back the control. And I can tell you this much, they took over last month. Not the whole month, but it took me, I felt like I was down and out for like almost a week, where I was just going through the motions because of where my mindset was, until I decided I'm claiming that back. Those are my thoughts. I want to control them. So that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. I feel like I have so many notes, but I feel like I hit the main things here, you guys. Just like, remember, when you are driving and you're going somewhere special, or you got the kids in the back seat and you just want to get home, you don't want that red light. You want that green light. So create the green lights in your business. And the next part I want to talk about is getting real with yourself. And this is probably something that is super hard sometimes, because, I mean, let's be real, we don't want to sit and look in the mirror and like take ownership for some of the things that we aren't doing in our lives. It's sometimes easier to blame outside things. Well, my schedule is crazy, or, oh gosh, I didn't have time, or this, that, and whatever. And last week, not this past week, the week before, I got my paycheck. And I looked at it, and I am grateful for every single paycheck, you guys. I am so grateful that I can make even $1 working on my phone from my home. That is just huge right there. I love that. But I looked at that paycheck, and I looked at what my goals are and what I want to be able to do this fall, which is not go back to my 9 to 5. And I'm trying to show that to my husband, because financially I need that income. So I'm trying to replace that income here with Thrive. And I saw my last paycheck, and I looked at that, and I was like, all right, Christina, like Lynn's always says, if you're not happy with what your paycheck is, you got to go out there and get more. And I got real with myself. Why was your paycheck like that? Did you show up? Did you do multiple rounds of IPAs? Were you creating new content? Were you showing up as the paycheck you want? And I wasn't, you guys. I was not showing up as the paycheck I want this to be. And you'll hear this so many times. You have to arrive at that mindset before the paycheck will come, right? You probably, I mean, I'm sure if you've been on any of the trainings, and if you're newer, you'll hear it. You have to arrive before the paycheck. And so I thought to myself, I work from home every single day. Right now, because of everything that's going on in the world, I am on unemployment. And so I've been home since March every single day. And I thought to myself, okay, Christina, you want this, right? You want this paycheck that's going to help you do this, that, and whatever. You want to lead a tribe of babes and all this. What do your mornings look like? I'll be real with you guys. I'm a night owl. I can stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I love to sleep in the morning. My husband is up. He works from home right now. He's up by 6 o'clock downstairs in his chair, and I like roll out of bed down to the kitchen at like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's after I do a little bit of personal development, and then I hop on the Zoom. So by the time I even get into my inbox, it's like 11, 11:30. And I said to myself, if you want a tribe of thousands of babes and you want the success and to make the impact you want to make, does that seem like something somebody would do at 11:30 in the morning, is when they're finally getting into their inbox, to their team, to their customers? No. So I got real with myself. You need to wake up earlier. You need to create a morning routine. And I know everybody says this, oh, morning routine, they get up early, and you hear a lot of our leaders say it. And trust me, if you are like this, it's okay. You can admit it, because I was one of them. I was like, they're crazy. Like, I'm not getting up that early and doing like 2 hours of like personal development on all this kind of stuff. Like, I will figure it out later in the day. I'll do it at 2 in the morning because I'm up, you know? And so I would say that. And so finally I was like, they're obviously successful for a reason, and they are my leaders, and they're telling me a morning routine is what I need to establish. So I'm going to establish a morning routine. Keep in mind, I'm doing baby steps into this morning routine because, like I said, night owl, I got to adjust my schedule. But now I wake up by 7:30 in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm like making sure I'm up. I set up, I time block. So I got a calendar and I time block. I do my personal development. I get my workouts in. You guys, I don't touch my phone. I make sure that this right here is where it needs to be. I do what I need to get done so that I am ready for whatever is coming my way. And I want you to pay attention. If you don't have a morning routine, or you don't have a schedule or anything like that, and I know that Lindsay posted this in one of our leaders page, but he says this, what is on, oh my God, I just turned my flashlight on. Did you all see that? Get myself in the spotlight. This, anything that happens on this, you react to. You have to react. It's a reaction, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so true. So one little pop-up, you wake up in the morning and you have a customer that maybe says, yeah, my products aren't working for me. You're now reacting. That's your mindset. Oh gosh, it's not working for this person. Your whole day is set like that. Set your own tone in the morning. However you want it to be. You guys, everybody's personal development and morning routine looks different. It looks different for everybody. I started splashing my face with cold water because I heard that in a Zoom, that he gets up and he jumps in the ocean. I don't have an ocean. He also says, or he gets in a cold shower. I'm starting with cold on my face before I do a whole dang shower, because baby steps, right? Baby steps. And I thought, he's successful. I'm going to take what he has to say and I'm going to do it. And I splash my face with cold water, and that wakes me up. And then I do my personal development, my prayer, my meditation. So by the time I even get to my phone, y'all, I am happy. My cup is so full that it doesn't matter what is going to come across that screen, because I am coming into it with such a full cup that it allows me to be able to react in the best way that I possibly can. So getting real with yourself and realizing, what more can you do for that paycheck you want, or for that team you want, or that impact you want, right? And I know that it's easy to make up excuses. There are so many things going on in the world, y'all. Today is my husband's birthday. And when I said to Linz that I would do this this Zoom, I didn't even realize it was his birthday. And I was like, it's fine, it's his birthday. I scheduled time with him, and then I scheduled time after this so we can watch our show. But I was like, I'm gonna be on a Zoom at 9, and I was prepping for it around 8 o'clock. I was getting in the right mindset to come on here, and it didn't matter because I know where my vision is and my goals are, that I time blocked. So I have a calendar that I have had for so long. Or is anybody else on here? And please tell me that you buy multiple calendars and never use any of them. Famous. So famous. So I found this bad boy tucked away in a drawer. I think I got it 2 years ago. And it is a hourly calendar. And Linz has said this before about time blocking. She said it to me multiple times. And I swear, I'm going to buy that girl a real good present, because she has to repeat things like 7 times before it finally clicks. And I have been time blocking. And it is the best thing known to man. Do you guys know that every every night I time block for the next morning because I know what's going on. I know if I have a doctor's appointment, I know if we have this going on or that going on. And yes, things will come in and I will make adjustments. That's the beauty of what we do. But for a majority of my day, I can schedule and get done what I need to get done. And so I time block my mornings. Everything that I'm gonna do, I put the work with me Zooms on here so I know I'm getting that solid round of IPAs from 10 to 11. I even schedule my lunch on here, you guys, so that I know when I can eat. And then I also we have the other work with me Zooms that are on Christina Brill's downline. So if you don't know about those, find them in the chat. Those are at 12:30 our time. So I know that I'm getting that second round of solid IPAs in, and then I schedule more IPAs throughout my night, and then I do a nightly IPA, just so I'm kind of keeping up with everybody's day and so on and so forth. And anytime I have extra minutes, if I'm scrolling, it better be for a good cause. That is what I've determined. I have to scroll so that it's for a good cause. So I put everything on this planner. I also put everything that I need to do, like check in with my samples. I need to order my contacts because I can't see if I don't have them, and I'm down to my last one on one eye. So I need to do that. I put on there simple things, you guys. Fix my printer. Go live about samples. I figure out if I'm going to go live, and I figure out what my live is going to be about, and I put that on there. Sometimes it just says live because I know I need to go live, and I'm going to go ahead and be inspired by whatever happened that day, and I go and talk about it. And then I have create new content, listen to a training video. If I have a podcast, I put podcast on there, or I'll go and save the podcast the night before. The best way to set your day up for success is the night before when you have time. Figure out what you need to do. I always find my my morning podcast that I go walk to, I find it at night. So this way I know what I'm going to go listen to. So in the morning, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. I get my butt on the treadmill and I walk and listen to the podcast. So time blocking, you guys, is so huge. And the reason why I say this is, how many of you miss appointments? If you have a doctor's appointment, you have a birthday party, you have a lunch date or anything like that, how many times do you miss it? Probably none. I don't know if that always is for that question or not. Sorry, just looking into the chat. But how many of you don't, right? You show up for that doctor's appointment, you show up for that lunch date with your bestie, you show up for that birthday party. So why are you not showing up for the appointment of your vision and your dreams? That hit me when I thought about that. I'll show up for all those other appointments and I make sure I'm not late. But when it comes to IPAs, or when it comes to getting that morning routine, or when it comes to all these things, I don't show up for it. Your vision, your dreams, your goals are your appointments. So show up for them just like you would for anything else, y'all. Anything else. And how do you do that? Time blocking. And I get it. You might have kids, or you might have different schedules, or you might work, you know, anything like that. You might have a 9 to 5. I had a 9 to 5 too, and I used that as an excuse for a very long time. I honestly did. And I'm just being honest with you guys because I feel like I'm an open book. You'll always know that about me. I am such an open book, and I am learning to love my flaws and work through them because I know it's just part of my story so that I can help somebody else in the future too. So I want you to set appointments that have your dreams and your goals. So if you're on your calendar, if your round of IPAs needs to say paying off that credit card, put it on there as your appointment from 10 to 11. If you can get on that IPAs, and instead of saying work with me, it's pay off that credit card. You're going to show up. Take my kids to Disney. I know that's a really big one for a lot of families. Put those on your calendar. Put those on your planners and show up for them, you guys. And the beauty with what we have is you get to create your own schedule. So my 7:30 in the morning might be somebody else's 5 a.m.s. I know one of my girls, Jenny, I think she might be on here. She's up at I can't with her. She's up so dang early. She used to text me back in the day and be like, I know you're not going to see this for a couple more hours, but here's my question. Because we have that kind of relationship, but don't worry, I'm getting on the early train. So She's not going to be texting those anymore. But what I'm saying is create your schedule. Work it around nap times. Work it around your husband's schedule, whatever it may be. Like I know for Keith, he works from, you guys, my husband is so disciplined. I'm like learning a lot from him, but secretly don't tell him because then he'll rub it in my face all the time. He sits at his desk for work from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. And he gets up very rarely, eats his lunch, all that kind of stuff. But he sits there and is dedicated to that, his work, because that's how he gets paid, right? That's how we get paid. So he shows up every day for those times. So I know that in between that time is when I want to get most of my stuff done, pretty much all of it. So that when he's off of work, I can spend time with him. I don't have kids right now or anything like that. So I get that there's other things that you have to put into play, but try to create that structure and try to create that, you know, that time blocking. And it can be 15 minutes. It doesn't even have to be an hour, you guys. It can be 15 minutes. It can be 10 minutes. Like, it does not matter. Like for mine, you know, in between the two work with me's is like a hour and a half. And I put get ready because I'm trying to do that, shower and actually change out of the same clothes, you know, instead of wearing them 3 days in a row, working on that. But shower, live, lunch, boom. And if I need to move my live to later because let's say things happened and, you know, my team needs me or something like that, then I can adjust throughout my day, but a majority of my day is already set. So there was one more thing that I wanted to say. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'm like trying to pay attention to the chat, but I also get so distracted that then my message wouldn't come out. So if I missed anything, I'm going to go back in 2 seconds and then I'll let you guys go. But when I was looking at the first part of our notes with the overwhelming and the fear, and I was listening to a little bit more of Bob. I'm going to go on a first name basis with him, and I hope he's okay with that, with Bob. And I was listening to something before I jumped on because I wanted to just get in the right headspace and everything. And he says, follow your fears, make them your compass. And I want to end with that. Whatever you have fears of, doubts of, it's probably because you're on the right path and something so great is on that other side. So make it your compass. If it's lives, go live. You guys figure out what you're good at and go do it. I realize that for me, my voice, not like my voice, but when I can go live and just talk with people, for me, it flows so much more. I can have a conversation with myself on live and come out like a better person. And sometimes I sit here for like hours trying to create a post because sometimes words are hard for me to put together how I'm feeling, but I can come and say that. So figure out what works for you, chase those fears, because that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, I'm going to claim it right now. I'm quitting the 9 to 5. Ooh, scary. But that's a fear. And he says that the best things are on the other side. So I'm going to take Bob's advice and I'm going to do what I need to do and chase those fears. So, okay, what if you've just had the worst day? Is it okay to skip the day or would you share it with everyone? So that honestly depends. I don't ever say, and I know Brittany says this, I don't ever skip the day, meaning there might be a day that I don't put a post out. Sometimes I forget, honestly. It's just like I get so overwhelmed and I forget, but I'm always showing up in my stories. I'm always showing my products. I'm always some way, shape, or form on my social media so people know that I'm there and I'm active. But if I can't find the words to make a post, I'm not going to just throw something up to throw something up. But if I can make my mess into a message, I'll share that. But I also do it with integrity, and I also do it with class too. And that is something that there are things that go on in our personal lives that some people just don't need to know about, right? Like there's just sometimes they don't need to know about it. And then there's sometimes where what you just went through can be a message and can be something for somebody else that uplifts them. So I'll use, for example, back in September of 2019, I was in the hospital and I didn't really share that I was in the hospital. I didn't really share what I was going through. At that point, I was being diagnosed with MS. But nobody really knew that until 2 weeks later. And I didn't share why I was in the hospital. I didn't really share all that was going on, but I did share the fact that I was in a hospital, but I was able to work from my phone the whole entire time. But I didn't share why I was there because that was personal. I wasn't ready yet to share that with the world. You know, and even after that, I didn't, you know, there's things that I would share to be able to help somebody, but I didn't necessarily share exactly everything that was going on, and you don't have to. And yes, some struggles are so relatable to others. You guys, you won't even, you can't even imagine. Sometimes people are looking to you to be able to relate, and they're going to relate to your struggles. They're going to relate to those hard parts. I hope that answers your question. If it didn't, let me know. But is it okay to unplug? Abso-flippin-lutely. I'm going to go back to that. There are days where I just unplug and I need a binge session on Netflix because this can get heavy sometimes, especially in the world that we're in. But guess what? Those days are maybe not my most interactive days. Those are the days that I'm not really going hard with interacting with other people. I'm making sure my posts are getting up. I'm showing up in my stories and I'm stepping back. And I know that when this first happened, when everything first started going down back in March, and there was a point where I like messaged Lindsay and I was like, this is heavy. Like I'm having a hard time being on my phone. And she was like, it's okay to step back. Y'all, it's okay to step back and to unplug, but show up in the areas that you can, how you can, and then step back and fill up your cup. I had to dig real deep with my doubts. Did you do? I just let my mind go. So the dig real deep with I talked it out with Lindsay, who's my enroller. I talked it out with my best friend. I sat with myself. And I don't know sometimes if we ever do that. I sat with myself and I thought about the thoughts I was having. And I said to myself, well, why do you have that? Why is that thought there? What does it mean? Because it doesn't make sense. Like what I was thinking didn't logically make sense for that situation. So I just dug a little bit deeper. And I was trying to figure out where are these thoughts coming from. And when I was talking it out with a friend or with Linz and stuff like that, they were able to give me their input and be like, okay, what if maybe it's this? And then the more I talk it out, and I don't know how you guys are, but my therapist actually says that I'm like her best client, which she probably says that to everybody, but I can talk myself right out of a situation. So after I had gotten diagnosed with MS, I did start seeing somebody because it was a lot and it was heavy and I didn't want to always put that burden on my like husband or my best friend or my friends. And so if I can get in my own head and talk things out or think things out, I can really go down the rabbit hole to figuring out what it is. But I give myself that time with myself, no distractions. There was a lot of times, you guys, I just sat outside and stared at the grass. And I was like, why are you feeling this way? And I journal it, or I'd write it down, or I just would have those thoughts. So that's kind of what I did to dig a little bit deeper. But you could easily take that. Let's say you can't really figure out what it is, why you have that thought. Start with one part of it, right? So like when it was a fear of it all falling apart. And I was like, but it's not falling apart. So what is the bigger fear? And then it was like, well, what if I let down my husband? Like I'm sitting here saying I can do it. And what if I can't? And then it was deeper, and then it was deeper. And then it became to a point where 4 years or 5 years ago, I was let go. I was put part-time at my job. And I was like, well, see, like he put me part-time. Does that mean I'm not good enough for that? So do you see, I was able to undo all the layers, and the more that shovel went deeper, the more there was so many other things. I thought to myself, you failed in so many other things. You said you were going to do this and you didn't show up. Like that is when I decided, you guys, my appointment with my vision and my dreams is important. And I am done not showing up for myself anymore. I am done not putting my priorities or my things that I want as a priority. So like in the morning, I'm not going to lie to you, it's been 2 mornings and day 3 is tomorrow, but at 8 o'clock, because I wake up at 7 and 7:30 and I kind of just let myself chill in bed. And at 8 o'clock, today I was like, it's fine, just sleep. And then I was like, girl, you are showing up for yourself. Get out of bed. So it's just kind of one of those things. I hope that answered the question. I'm so sorry. I can get squirrel brain. So yeah, you could find maybe a part of it. Start journaling. Totally journal to yourself. Honestly, sometimes writing notes to yourself. I know Christina Brill had us do that on one of her Zooms, and she said to write a note to yourself. And when I started to write the note to myself, I think that's what kind of started to trigger a lot of it too. So write a note to yourself. And then, yeah, some struggles are so relatable to others, which we said that before. So I won't keep you guys any longer unless you have any questions. I hope you were able to get something out of today, some type of nugget. But like I said, set your vision and your goals as an appointment in your day, because you honestly will show up for them. And the more you show up for them, the more consistent you are, y'all, the more things are just going to keep happening. And I'm going to tell you this too, trust the process. So let's say you go ahead and you're doing all the things this week, and next week your paycheck maybe didn't change that much. Trust the process. Because I'll tell you this much, I will continue to show up and keep leveling up, because I know at the end it is going to happen. But it might not happen tomorrow, and it might not happen next week, but that's not going to change my course, because my course is getting to that goal, and then the next goal and the next goal. So I hope you guys all have an awesome, awesome night. I'm going to now go to my time blocking with my husband to watch our show. So I hope you guys time block, set a schedule with yourself. If you ever have any questions or you need us, any of us leaders, you guys always know my inbox is open too. I'm Christina Tammy. I'm not really Lindsay Reed, but it's fun for today to be here. So I hope you have an awesome night, you guys, and I will talk with you all soon. Bye.